I had been sitting in my office for hours, the day seemed to be dragging on, and I didn't think I could wait until dinner time to see Bailey. She had been on my mind since the moment I had woken up. My eyes were so frequently drifting to the clock to monitor the time, but it seemed to be dragging even further. I had been for 2 runs already with Zion, just to kill time, and done as much paperwork as I was able to focus on. But I needed to see her. As the end of school time was approaching, I decided I could wait no longer. I was finishing work early. It wasn't like I didn't deserve it. I wanted to walk Bailey home. I wanted her company. I missed her, and that shocked me. Scared me too, but it was the truth. So I rushed to school, seeing her with the pups from our pack, how she treated them all so carefully. Treating them like little grown-ups, it truly made me smile. Warmed my heart in a way I don't think I could explain to anybody. Zion's too. He was a tough and ruthless wolf at the best of times. Yes, we had both been hurt, and we were weak in that sense, but we had guards up. But seeing Bailey and the way she was with these pups did something to the pair of us. Not just that, but the way those little pups looked at her, big-eyed, full of adoration for their teacher, full of wonderment, like they found her truly intriguing. She was always smiling at them, and they appeared to be forever returning those smiles. On the odd occasion I had been to her room, I had seen pictures sitting upon her drawers that the children had been making for her. Our pack were blessed to have her. I look back now and wonder why I had ever questioned Eden's choice. Ultimately, it had brought Bailey to me. The moment her class was all gone, after she had humiliated me with her whole class, a smile upon her face. I rushed through the corridor to her class, shutting the door behind me as I walked into her classroom. Her eyes instantly met mine, and the moment they did, my heart began to race. She was beginning to have such an effect on me as Ela did, and that terrified me. But I tried so hard to push my fears to one side, trying hard to remember Eden's words when my doubts were plaguing my mind. "Good afternoon, Miss Bailey," I said with a cheeky wink, wasting no time in wrapping my arms around her, pushing her up against the wall next to her classroom door. Finding her lips instantly with mine, I had been thinking of this kiss all day. There was a need and urgency there rushing through me. But Bailey quickly pushed me back. "Asher, what if one of the other teachers come in?" I knew she was right and instantly released her, sighing deeply, immediately feeling bad for my actions. "Sorry," I muttered with a shrug. "I missed you," I added, hoping that might explain why I had responded the way I had. "Oh, was that why you came to spy on me?" she teased playfully. I could not help but smirk. I don't think it was quite spying. Talking of that, getting your whole class to wave at me? She laughed. A sound I was beginning to love. Her whole face lit up when she was laughing and smiling, and I truly loved that sight. "What can I say? A little sunshine brightens someone's day," she said with a little twinkle in those beautiful brown eyes of hers. Well, I would not argue with her on that one. "You surely brighten my day," I murmured softly, offering her my hand, and she surprised me by taking it within hers, allowing me to gently tease my fingertips over her palms. "Can I walk you home, beautiful?" I offered, hoping she wouldn't see this as being the main reason I had come to the school. I had just missed her, could not wait until dinner time to see her again. I can see Bailey smiling affectionately at me as she looks up at me. I think that would be good. I know I may be pushing my luck, but I want to try anyway. Oh, and Zion wonders if Akira fancies a run again later? I suggested, just desperate for more time together, knowing it would calm Zion a little too. And the sound of Bailey's laughter rings out once again, making me smile. This girl has made me smile more in these last few weeks than I had in the last few years, I am sure of it. "Oh, does he now?" she suddenly teased. "And does he plan to behave?" I chuckled, knowing exactly what she was meaning, that I can't promise, but he will try. Suddenly, the classroom door opened, causing me to jump. My eyes instantly darted to the doorway, and I saw Allie walking in. Her expression was enough to tell me she was shocked at the close proximity of Bailey and I knew Bailey was worried about what the other teachers would think. Not to mention this was my former mother-in-law. What would she think of me moving on from her daughter? I quickly released Bailey's hand, hoping desperately that it had been out of Allie's view. "Well, hello, Beta Asher. I didn't realize you were coming today." Is everything okay? Allie asked. I could tell from the way she spoke she was tense, and the way she looked at me was one of apprehension. How the hell do I explain this? I don't want this woman thinking badly of Bailey. She was so worried about what they would think of a new teacher suddenly involved with the beta. She had told me that so many times before. Plus, how the hell do you say to the mother of your deceased mate? Oh, by the way, this is the woman I have begun to have feelings for? Fuck, this was awkward. I don't know what to do. What to say? If it was just me, I would explain it, but I know this is Bailey who is worried about her reputation. I don't want that under the magnifying glass. I quickly nodded, trying hard to avoid her burning gaze. She seemed almost angry. All good, Allie. Just came by to see if Miss West was free to come and discuss some things with Luna Eden. I quickly came up with the first lie that came to my mind that would be viable. No clue why, but that was what I thought of. Allie nodded. Not heard of a phone? She asked almost sarcastically. Fucking hell. What is this? An interrogation? I was close by is all, I explained with a shrug. I wasn't aware I was not allowed to call into the school, Allie. Do I need to request permission now? I said with a little more spite than I intended. She looked a little taken aback by my tone this time, but shook her head. No, of course not. You are the beta. You are free to call in as you please. I apologize if I overstepped my mark. Did all the tickets for the concert get handed out, Bailey? Allie asked Bailey, who seemed to be avoiding the gaze of us both now, her body feeling tense next to mine now, making me wonder if the whole situation had made her feel uncomfortable. I had done my best to protect her from awkward questions. Yes, Allie, all handed out along with the words to practice again. Plus, we keep practicing in class. She smiled tentatively. If you don't mind, I'm going to go. I have somewhere I need to be. Oh, of course, dear. No problem. Allie nodded at Bailey as she dashed to the coat hook where her bag was hanging, and she rushed from the classroom. I looked at her in confusion as she appeared to escape from the classroom as fast as she could. We had agreed to walk back together, and here she was in such a hurry to get away? I felt the eyes of Allie boring into me, but right now I didn't care. I was worried for Bailey. Just go, Asher, Allie said quietly, allowing me to rush off after Bailey. Fear rushed through me as I could not help but wonder why she did not want to be near me. As I rushed from the school doors, needing to get away, I felt my chest tightening. I was feeling so stupid right now. I was his fucking secret. Was he any better than Miles? The pain radiating through me at that thought was beyond anything I had ever experienced. And Akira whimpered within my mind. She did not like me thinking like that. She did not think Zion thought of her in that way, so she would not like to think that Asher would think of me in such a way. But sometimes the wolf and the human counterpart were two different entities, different thoughts, different opinions. The way he reacted numerous times. The way he only met with me when no others were around. Nobody knew about us. He had wanted us to remain a secret. That is the only way this thing between us could be considered. It had to be. I know it was not the same situation as it was with Miles, but this ran deeper, so it hurt more, and I would not be a secret again. My legs felt heavy under me as I made my way down the path back toward the pack along the tree line. Bailey! I heard Asher calling me, but I refused to turn back to him. The whimpering from Akira only grew louder. She did not agree with me on this one. But I was the one that had to tolerate all that pain from Miles, and the thing was, there had been no feelings there. This time I am afraid to say there were feelings there. There may be no actual bond, but there were feelings, too many. I heard heavy footsteps pounding on the path behind me as Asher was suddenly alongside me. Will you fucking stop? He snapped, sounding a little breathless. I assumed it was because he had been running to catch me up. I glared at him. Well, if someone doesn't stop when you call them, it generally means they don't want to talk to you, Asher. I snarled in response. So, get the fucking message. His eyes widened in shock at my words, but I continued to walk, planning on heading straight back to my room and hiding out there for the rest of the night. I was sure if I asked Mark to bring me food to my room, he would. Right. I may be completely thick, but did I miss something? He asked. He hooked his arm through mine and pulled me into the forest now, so we were out of sight. Oh, wonderful. He didn't want anyone to see us arguing. Of course, we wouldn't want that now, would we? Heaven forbid somebody suspect him of being with the new girl. What do you think you are doing? I snatched my arm from his. Worried somebody might see you with me? Put two and two together? Don't worry. There is nothing to hide. Your dirty little secret is done. I quickly moved away from him. Asher rushed after me. He turned me to him, hurt and confusion all over his handsome features. What the fuck? He stuttered. Dirty little secret? I am sick of being treated like a fucking secret by people, so just fuck off. I felt tears threatening and needed to get away. I thought you were different. My voice was turning into almost a sob. Bailey, what are you talking about? He tried to reach for my hand, but I pulled it from his grip. You don't see? I demanded, which is quite difficult when you are doing your best to hold back your tears. Beautiful, please, come on. Fucking hell, you are all I think of right now. Do you know how big that is for me? I had thought I would be alone forever, and then you came into my life like a fucking wrecking ball, all fire and fight, driving me crazy, but reaching out to me in a way I can't even explain. Why would you, even for 1 second, think I consider you a dirty secret? I saw tears in his eyes now, and I began to doubt my own mind. Had Miles fucked up my own mind so badly, I always came to the worst thought. Think about it, I urged. You pulled me in here for one. That was because you are worried about what people will think of you being around me a lot. How many times have you said that, Bailey? He said, his shoulders sagging. Not to mention I do not want the whole fucking pack knowing my business. It was my shoulders sagging now, as I began to think he might be right. What about how you acted when Allie came in? You cannot deny you did not want her seeing us together. You dropped my hand like a hot potato the moment she stepped into the room. He sighed, leaning himself against a tree. All right, yes, you got me there. But this is a little more awkward, Bailey. That is my former mother-in-law, and I do not know how to handle that. How do I tell her I want to move on? When I have been alone ever since Isla died? Not so much as bothered with another woman. Not wanted to until you came along, messing with my mind. He smiled across at me sheepishly. I don't want to hurt her. They were always so good to me. I felt foolish now. I think I can understand that. I nodded. Maybe I overreacted. And, in my defense, beautiful, you did say you did not want the teachers at school questioning anything between us after that first time they were asking, so I was trying to protect you too. Maybe not very well, but I was trying. Hell, sweetheart, I don't think I'm doing any of this very well. I am out of practice, okay? He opened his arms up to me, as if in offer of a hug, and I moved toward him. I am sorry. I was out of order, I think. I whispered as I rested my head against his chest. I was scared, Asher. Scared I would hurt you? He asked softly, and I nodded. Sweetheart, you never have to worry about me hurting you. I would fight heaven and earth to ensure you don't get hurt. You might have missed me saying this the other night because you fell asleep, but I mean it. I will do everything I can to protect you, Bailey. His lips tenderly touched the top of my head, while my heart worked overtime racing at his words. He seemed to have got pretty serious, pretty fast. Asher tightened his arms around me, pulling me closer in his embrace. The familiar scent of him filled my senses, and it was becoming strangely comforting to me now. Akira was happily purring within my mind now that things were settled. I'm going to have to watch you, huh? Asher murmured against the top of my head. Huh? I was confused. I don't want you worried about us. I would go and shout it from the rooftops, but I don't want to rush you. This is all at your call. I want you to feel secure, Bailey. I want you to be happy. Fuck, I just want you. He hooked his hand under my chin, lifting my chin, allowing my lips to meet his kisses far less tender than previously. His hand ran through my hair as his tongue parted my lips to gain access to my mouth. The sensations he created throughout my body as his tongue teased along mine were ones I would never tire of. I hooked my arms around Asher's neck, gently nibbling at his lower lip, feeling him moan against me as I did. His hand dropped to the hem of my dress, sliding up my thigh, taking me by surprise, causing me to gasp and moan as he deepened his kisses further, his hand cupping my butt before lifting me, allowing me to wrap my legs around his waist. He moved me up against the tree. I could feel the hardness of him straining against his trousers, while he thrust gently against me. Our kisses intensified with Asher's fingers finding the fabric of my lace panties, already wet from the effect he was having upon me. His fingertips gently teased at the fabric, sending pulses of desire through me, surges of pleasure so strong. I moaned loudly against Asher's kisses, just as there was a sound behind us, and Asher paused, turning his head but keeping me in his arms. My eyes widened as I realized there was indeed someone there. Mark? Looking right at us, a look of shock upon his face. Asher, he said quickly, nodding. Bailey, I'd say looking good as always, but may not be the right time. He smiled awkwardly before he nodded again, just on my way to check the border. I felt myself blushing at his words, and my heart was most certainly pounding, though it had most definitely been racing prior to Mark's arrival. Asher made my heart race with ease of late, but right now my heart was pounding with nerves. It would seem our secret was out, and I felt Asher's eyes drop to mine, his body tensing slightly. I'm sorry, beautiful, I should have been more careful, he whispered. I slowly shook my head. No, this was likely both our faults. How had we not heard him coming? Had we really been that lost in one another? Mark shook his head. Had he heard us? Guys, it is fine. I didn't see a thing. Don't worry. And with that, he walked away. I looked at Asher as he gently placed me back on the floor in front of him, but his hands remained upon my hips. I am sorry. I know that is your brother-in-law, isn't it? I hope this doesn't make things difficult, I explained, but Asher simply shrugged. Maybe it is time I was brave, Bailey. Speak with them. Though it was probably a good thing that he appeared, stopped me doing what I wanted to do just then, because for the first time here, well, that would not be the right thing to do, sweetheart. He smiled sadly at me, and I nodded. Things had been getting more than a little heated, and while I had been eager for Asher to continue to allow his hands to explore my body while we kissed, I knew that would not be how I wanted things to happen between us. However, that is not to say once we have had our first time, and I have made you feel the most special you can feel, sweetheart, that we can't get frisky in the woods if the feeling happens to take you. He almost purred at me, his eyes darkening in the most of seductive ways. And I found myself giggling nervously. I quite like the sound of that. I think someone likes the sound of that. He murmured as he wrapped his arms around my waist once more, tugging me close to him. I think I may have been right when I said there was a naughty side to you, Miss Bailey. I looked up at him innocently. I don't know what you mean. Asher smiled seductively once more. I am sure you don't, beautiful, he whispered against my ear. And I think I may like it. Oh, really? I teased him, allowing my fingertips to run a line down his chest, all the way down to his waistband, earning me a gasp from him. He moaned, pulling me closer, allowing me to feel the effect my touch and the discussion we were having was having upon him. I think I'd like it if it was just me you were sharing that side of you with. I pulled back a little to look at him. You implying I am with other people now? His shoulders sagged. No. Okay, forget I said anything, okay? I worded it wrong, Bailey. Should we head back? Whatever. I stepped back from him to allow him to begin to walk in the direction of the pack. I could see from his body language he was feeling deflated now. Something was bothering him, something he didn't want to say. Suddenly my phone began to ring in my pocket, and I slipped it out, surprised to see my sister's number on the screen. This is my sister. I need to check she is okay. I explained to Asher and he nodded. Hello? I answered, curious what my sister would want with me, as she never spoke to me much now. I couldn't help but worry if something was wrong with Mum or Dad. I heard sobbing at the other end of the phone. Bye? A tiny voice whispered. Morgan? I urged, suddenly panicking even more, my breathing increasing and my palms becoming sweaty. What had upset her to the point she was barely able to speak? What is wrong? I asked. I saw Asher turn to look at me, a look of concern upon his face. You okay? He mouthed to me, nothing like a stupid question. How could I answer that when I didn't know what was going on with my sister? So I simply shrugged. There was still no response from my sister on the phone, and all I could hear was more sniffling and crying. Morgan, seriously, I need to know what is going on, sis. Please. I am getting scared now. Suddenly, I found Asher's arm around me, pulling me to him. I assumed trying to reassure me with the fact I had said I was feeling scared. I glanced up at him and smiled. I knew he thought he was helping me. Despite me having been snappy with him, he was still there trying to reassure me. Morgan sniffled again. Miles, she sniffed. Wait, she was calling me about Miles? This is about Miles? I asked. I was ready to get angry, then fear filled me. What if he had hurt her? Morgan, has he hurt you? A heavy sob broke out at the other end of the phone, and Asher looked at me with darkened eyes. Concern etched all across his face. Morgan, I need to know. I know it is hard, but I know what he is like. Please, I am scared for you. Ty will help. I begged her to speak to me, not caring now for all the shit that had happened between us in the past. This was my sister, and she sounded like she was hurting. She needed me. She needed help. Bye, she sniffed. Can I come and stay with you? She sobbed. Just for a little bit? I looked at Asher, who nodded. Yes, of course. He told me I wasn't good enough, Bye. He said I was worse than a whore, that he used me to get at you. Her sobs racked at her body. I could hear her through the phone, and I felt her pain, but her words hit me hard too. I hate the man. How can he treat people like that? I know how she feels, though she likely feels so much worse because she had feelings for him. Morgan, he does not deserve you, I told her calmly, despite my trembling hands. He didn't want me anyway. He said his new chosen mate is perfect. He said he would make me see them together, and each time I do, I will know what a failure I am. And at her words, she bursts into floods of tears. As I look across to Asher, he slowly shakes his head in shock, evidently having heard what was said. Miles had found a chosen mate, yet he was still vying to hurt me and my family. Would this never stop? The pack was abuzz with the news I was to be taking a chosen mate. By now it had spread that Bailey and I had been fated mates, but our parents had decided to go for the announcement that we had come to a mutual decision we were not suitably matched. Ha ha. Not suitably matched? That was a fucking understatement. That bitch was still not home either, nor was she responding to my messages or answering my calls. But right now, my focus was on Kaya. Everything needed to be focused on making her my mate. I was beyond surprised when she had agreed to it. The look upon her face when she was told the reason we were there was one of confusion, and a small part of me feared disgust. But as a mixture of emotions passed across her face, she took us all by surprise when she agreed to the arrangement that her father had all but previously agreed to, before giving us her demands. It seemed my girl was fiery, but I knew that. I had seen that when I had seen her in treatment. She was a girl who knew what she wanted, and I liked that. Yes, she had demanded a marriage, not something all alphas formally do, and not something I had ever envisioned for myself, but if it meant a big celebration in my name, then hell yeah, I was up for that. Plus, it meant I got to rub it in Bailey's face that I had taken a chosen mate. It proved to her once again that she was not good enough for me, and that Kaya was sheer perfection. I had found the girl of my dreams, and I was making her mine. We were going to celebrate in style, and I planned to ensure that bitch was there to watch every moment of it, endure every moment of seeing my happiness. And once she was back in the pack, she would not be allowed to leave. Son, Kaya asked for the flowers to be changed again. My dad grumbled as he looked at a sheet of paper I had put on his desk, an email I had printed for him from my soon-to-be mate. He and Mum were dealing with all that shit. I was not one for dealing with arranging events. That was most certainly the role of a Luna, so I had handed all the responsibilities to my parents. I would simply be turning up on the day, marrying the girl, and partying, showing the world I was the boss. Proving to the pack I now had my mate, and I would soon be their alpha. Ellis may have already had his mate, and now have their perfect little pup on the way to complete their perfect little family, but I was the firstborn, and always would be. I had done all that had been asked of me, and now my dad and I were getting on better than ever. I would be alpha. Of that, there had to be no doubt. I know, but we want to make her happy, Dad. It is a special day for her, right? I said with a shrug. I knew a wedding was a huge thing for girls, so all these changes she kept making, I dismissed the irritation they brought and simply agreed to it. Keeping her happy meant the sooner she would be mine. I saw my dad roll his eyes. This is the fourth no make that fifth fucking time, Miles. And oddly enough, it is meant to be a special day for you too, yet right now, you don't seem to give a shit." He snarled. I took a deep breath, calming my wolf rippling beneath my skin. My wolf was becoming harder to control when pushed, and the patronizing way in which my dad consistently spoke to me was one of his triggers. But I knew I had to push him back. I had to keep him under control, or I would lose the footing I had already gained. I would get to where I wanted to be, and then I would make him suffer. Then he would feel the wrath of both me and my wolf. I do give a shit. Just all the details are the things Kaya wished to sort. I am fine with that. I don't even know half the stuff we need. I told him, moving toward the office door. I had barely paid any attention to the wedding plans. In truth, I was focused more on the wedding night. Kaya and I had met a number of times since our meeting, for meals and what I guess could be considered dates. And while she was flirty this time, she was still a little too reserved. Telling me she didn't want things to happen before we were married, which took me by surprise. She was a confident girl. She had experience, I am sure of it, so why she was making me wait, I don't know, but I didn't like it. It was driving me crazy. My phone rang in my pocket as I stalked down the corridor, and I quickly pulled it out to find it was Kaya calling. "Miles?" she whined as I answered, taking me by surprise. "Hey, what's up?" "My dad is being snappy about the changes for the wedding. Said your dad had been complaining about it at one of their meetings. You don't mind, do you? You are happy with everything, right? I told him you had said I could have anything I wanted. Plus, that you had said if there was anything I didn't like, that I should change it. He has been so snappy with me." She whimpered down the phone at me, sounding close to tears. Seemed a little of an overreaction, I can't lie, but obviously I couldn't tell her I didn't care. That would not bode well for me as her future mate. I needed to make a good impression here. "Oh, is he giving you a hard time, darling?" I almost purred down the phone at her, putting on my charm in the best way I know how. "Yeah. Can I come and stay with you?" she asked me out of the blue, nearly knocking me off of my feet. Not once had she mentioned coming to stay before the wedding. She had always planned on moving to the pack and in with me on the night of the wedding, so this was moving things a little faster than expected. But fuck no, I was not going to turn this down. "Of course you can," I reassured her. "What time will you be arriving?" I asked, already excited at the prospect of having her with me in a matter of hours. I was kind of wondering if you wouldn't mind coming to help me sort my stuff and bringing it over," she said, her voice sounding sugary sweet. "I know I am such a pain, but it would be so helpful. Show my dad that you don't mind being there for me, that you do care the way I am saying you do. Plus, then it means we get to spend more time together getting to know one another before the wedding, too." My heart softened a little. She genuinely seemed keen on this idea, and I had to say I wasn't going to argue with her. "Of course, darling, I will be straight over," I told her, turning back to my dad's office to grab my car keys. I cannot believe I will be bringing my girl home sooner than expected. News was spreading fast through the pack about my upcoming nuptials, and needless to say, it brought about a lot of shock. But much excitement, too. The bringing together of two packs through a wedding of the children of two alphas was always a big occasion, and all the pack members were looking forward to it. Miles and his family were not lying when they said they were willing to do whatever it would take to encourage me to consider their offer of the arrangement. Despite the fact I had already agreed to it, I was receiving fresh flowers every other day. The wedding planning was so lavish and detailed, it was beyond compare. It must be costing his family an absolute fortune. I was being a pain in the ass, I knew that, but by seeing things online that I liked, my mind was being swayed. My decisions were swapping and changing all the time. And me being the way I am, I would decide that I needed to have them, so changing those details within our wedding. But Miles seemed to smooth things over with his family, and the details were always changed. Until I saw something I liked more. Miles was not the same angry guy he had been in treatment, or at least not with me. He was apparently willing to prove himself to be a good and decent mate, and as much as I may be missing Jacob, I was not going to complain about that. On the few times I have visited their pack, I could see how beautiful it was, and Miles had told me if there were things I could see that I would like to change when he became alpha, I would have free rein to make alterations. This man was easily becoming my dream man. He was giving me the freedom to be who I want and do as I please. Jacob was strutting around the pack with his bit on the side on proud display now, or his new girlfriend as she technically was now. And the sickening thing was they both looked happy. Hand in hand so often, eyes locked and so freely together, which was like a punch to the gut for me. He had been mine only a week ago. A week ago, and they were sneaking around behind my back, behind the backs of all of our pack, yet now they walked around freely, like they were a power couple of some sort, proud to be together. And it irritated me. He was meant to be mine, but she seemed to make him happier than I ever did. Well, I hope she fucking kills him. As I returned home from the treatment center in the afternoon, after working an additional shift, I happened to run into Jacob while he returned from his border patrol duties. His eyes fell on me the moment our paths crossed, and a dark smirk spread across his face. "Married off to an alpha, yet he is still making you work?" he sneered, turning my news of a chosen mate into what felt like a joke. All my hopes of my upcoming nuptials making him feel inferior and feel deflated at losing me were slipping from my grasp. He simply did not seem to care in the slightest. "I am not married yet, Jacob," I said coldly, knowing it was not the best comeback, but also I was unsure what to say. I didn't want to be nasty to this man. I wanted to drag him back to my room and rip all of his clothes off, make him mine once more. "Didn't waste your fucking time though, did you? Finding someone else?" he snapped. "Made me out to be a fucking villain, yet there you were pairing yourself off with potential suitors. Ensuring they were rich enough for you, were you?" The darkness within his glare and the venom within his tone hurt, but I simply shook my head. "My life is none of your business now. All you need to know is I didn't cheat, unlike you, because I respected what we had. Shame you didn't offer me the same fucking courtesy." "Always so high and mighty, aren't you, Kaya?" he sneered. "Well, you won't be so high and mighty to your new mate, will you? Won't be able to belittle him and look down upon him when he is an alpha. How long until he realizes his mistake? He came to me. He respects me." I told him coldly. "Miles and I make a good couple, unlike you and I ever did. You were always well below me. I should have known you were never good enough, but I always did like a bit of rough." I gave him a dirty look while my heart felt like it was breaking at my words. I felt Jacob tug my arm, pulling me closer to him. "I could have you back in a heartbeat, darling, and you know it. You'll be thinking of me as he sinks his teeth into your flesh to mark you." His warm breath tickled the skin of my neck as he whispered, his mouth next to my ear. "And as he fucks your pussy, you'll be wishing it was me. Wishing it was my cock nice and deep inside of you. You know he will be nothing more than a disappointment to you." I felt tears prickling at my eyes as I stumbled backward away from him, and Jacob chuckled. "Miles? That's his name? I bet Miles below par." "Good luck, Kaya. You will need it. In the meantime, I will be enjoying myself, hearing her scream my name, time and time again." And with that, he walked away, a big smile upon his face. My hands were trembling at his words, and I have never felt so sick in my life. He was so degrading. I wanted to get away from him. I needed to be away from Jacob and his conquest. It was destroying me piece by piece, seeing him each day, hearing of all the things they were doing. I had hoped so desperately that my marriage would make him see that I too was moving on, but he had simply laughed it off, dismissed it as nothing. I can't take this anymore. I reached for my phone from my pocket, dialing what was now becoming a regular number for me. The moment it was answered, I spoke before he even had a chance to. "Miles?" I whimpered, desperate for him to be my hero in all of this. If he came and saved me, showed the pack he had come for me, proving himself as my mate, maybe Jacob would see that he was the bigger man after all. My mate was an alpha. He would always be the more dominant one. I needed him. I was knackered. Ever since that sleep in Bailey's bed with her in my arms, I had struggled to sleep. Yes, my nighttime visions now were few and far between, which was a blessing. I would always miss my Isla, and she would always cherish everything we had had together. But I had found this a way to help put her to rest. To let my angel finally rest in peace. She deserved it. I hadn't had the chance to prove myself as a mate to her when we were together. Not really. But I hope in the dedication and commitment I had shown in the years that followed her death, I proved myself as a loyal and good mate in respecting her memory, cherishing her memories, and being so reluctant to let her go. But now, I desperately craved the warmth of Bailey when I awoke in the middle of the night. Zion craved her too. The contentment she gave us and the calmness she brought was like nothing else. She may not be our fated, but she held something, maybe a piece of our heart, but whatever it was, it gave her a gift that enabled her to settle us. And I was missing her. So many times when we have said goodnight at the door of our rooms, I was so tempted to ask her to join me for the night, but I was terrified it would sound too much. Or she would assume I meant for the obvious. The obvious. We seem to be skirting around that subject right now, maybe both afraid of offending the other, or fearing we were rushing one another. Our situations were complicated, to say the least. Yes, don't get me wrong, the thought of it drove me crazy, filled me with lust for that girl. All of that would be fun too, but hell, I was a simple guy, even a cuddle would be nice. It has been a while. Geez, I sound pathetic. Too right you do. Zion helpfully agreed, evidently listening to my thoughts as he so often did, making me chuckle. I had found myself feeling so much more light-hearted and cheerful of late too. Getting back to my older self, maybe the clinging to the memories of Isla was weighing me down more than I had realized. "I don't think you are much better, jackass," I pointed out, knowing he was equally as hooked on Akira, and suddenly my wolf was quiet. Ha, I seem to have got him there. Fuck it, I am going to see if she wants a cuddle. I sighed, getting up. It was only early. My later nights of working had almost halted completely now. All because of Bailey. We would have our nights on the sofa watching films and relaxing together. If I did have work to do, she generally would do school things in the library, but we always found time to relax together in some way. It had become part of my nightly routine, and I have to say I enjoyed it. And then we would head up to our rooms together. I never saw the point of returning back downstairs to the office after that. I did, however, sneak out of my room each and every night to place a chocolate bar outside of Bailey's room for her to find each morning, which, after seeing her face light up like a summer's day the first morning I did it, I knew it had to be something I continued to do. I'm down for that. Zion agreed with my plan as I snuck out of my beta suite, dressed in nothing but the shorts I had on. I knocked on her door, hoping she wasn't already asleep. I desperately wanted to see her. I heard footsteps thudding across the floor sleepily, so I wondered if I had woken her, and suddenly the door opened. Bailey was standing there, a true vision in a small tank top and a pair of shorts. Her face held a sleepy expression, making me smile, and her hair in the mad mane of curls it turned into when she left it to dry naturally. The way she looked most beautiful, in my opinion. "Is everything okay?" she mumbled sleepily. "Shit, okay." I had woken her. "Is there a fire?" I chuckled, an odd conclusion to come to. I had to say, I suddenly felt nervous. This seemed a little presumptuous now. "Ash, what is wrong?" she asked, taking me by surprise, as I think that was the first time she had used the shortened name my family and many of my friends used. I can't sleep, and I wondered if I faltered a little, realizing how pathetic I was. She giggled. "You have woken me up to come and see if you can climb into bed with me?" She raised her brows in question, a little suggestively if I am not mistaken. "Not in a dodgy way, Bailey. I slept so well the other night, and She grabbed my arm and pulled me into her room, interrupting me. "Shut up. I am teasing. You don't need to explain. I know, because I am the same. I have been the same since that night, you big dummy." She kicks her door shut behind us before pulling me to her bed. "Now, my bed, my rules. Keep your hands to yourself, Mr. Alcott." She pointed her finger at me, a smile upon her face, and I found myself smiling. I am not so sure if I want to go to sleep now, just being in her company again, and I feel good. "Aw, Miss West, you are a spoil-sport. I plan to be the big spoon. Hands are generally partially involved in that." I wiggled my brows at her this time as she slid back into bed, and my heart raced at the sight of her shorts riding up along her butt cheeks as she slid along the bed to allow me room to join her. "Well, there may be some exceptions," she said as she snuggled her body up against mine. my body already reacting to her closeness. While I instantly felt relaxed as I slipped my arm around her waist, resting my head upon hers. Zion suddenly purring contently. This was where I wanted to be. "Good night, beautiful." I softly kissed her head. "Good night, you." Her hand gently stroked mine as I felt sleep taking over me. I awoke the next morning to the sound of an alarm, the most horrendous sound I think I have heard, and it was most definitely not my alarm for waking me up. I shot up in bed, only realizing then the warmth encompassing me had been Bailey snuggled into my chest, and now she was flung across the bed. "Well, if my alarm didn't wake me, you sure as hell did," she grumbled sleepily. I pulled her back to me, feeling terrible. "Oh, I'm sorry." I showered kisses across her face and her head as she pulled away to switch off the incessant wailing of the alarm. Why the hell she would pick that noise to wake her up, I have no clue. That sound was horrendous. Once again, I pulled Bailey back to me, missing the warmth of her body close to mine. I cannot believe I had slept through until the morning again. I don't think I have even stirred once after she had snuggled into my arms. No bad dreams. Nothing. Just a comfortable contentness was all I had felt all night. Happiness, I think. Something I don't think I have felt properly in a long time. This girl is definitely a key to a better night's sleep for me, of that there was no doubt. The thing is, I don't want to get out of bed now. Come on, I need to get up for work," Bailey said, softly kissing me on the cheek. "Ah, you have to be kidding, right?" I almost whined. "How pathetic do I sound?" "Very, if it helps," Zion tells me, with a chuckle. "But I don't want them to go either. Cuff her to the bed, tell her she is ordered to stay here for the day." He is chuckling more deeply now. Kinky little fucker. Though he may have a point. "Well, as Beta, I'm saying you have the day off," I tell her with a grin, already thinking of the fun we could have with a full day and even night in bed. But Bailey simply shakes her head at me. "Don't think you're trying that on me. I have to go to work, as I am sure do you, so get your butt right up and out of my bed," she said to me with a strict expression. I smiled again. "What are you going to do if I don't?" I questioned, laying myself back down comfortably onto the pillow, my arms rested below my head. Bailey looked down on me with a slow smile spreading across her face. "Absolutely nothing." She slipped along the edge of the bed, climbing off the edge of the bed, moving back towards me, giving me hope she had changed her mind, but instead she was softly placing a brief kiss onto my lips, making my heart pound crazily. "I am going for a shower, because I have work to get ready for. If you plan to stay in bed all day, by all means, make yourself comfortable." She winked at me before turning away and walking toward her bathroom, her small shorts and tank top she wore to bed enhancing the curves of her perfect body as she sashayed toward the bathroom. I felt my body reacting to the sight of her. My mind worked overtime with the things I wanted to do to her. Why was I so terrified about taking that next step? Terrified to disappoint her, I think. "You need a shower, right?" Zion's voice interrupted my anxieties, as the bathroom door closed after Bailey playfully blew me a kiss. "So, go get one, with her. The ploy to stay in bed didn't work." That did sound good. I did need a shower, though I could easily return to my own place for a shower, but that did not sound half as appealing as a shower with Bailey. I quickly swung myself out of bed, my heart now feeling like it was about to beat right out of my chest. I walked over to the closed door of the ensuite bathroom, where I could hear the shower running. I gently eased the handle down a little, so unsure of myself now. Why could I not have the confidence of my own fucking wolf? No, I would do the decent thing. I would at least let her know I was thinking of going in there. "Bailey?" I called into the room nervously, already filling with steam from the hot water of the shower. "Asher," her voice teased. "What's up? Are you missing me now too? So you thought you'd come and join me in the shower?" Her voice held a teasing tone to it, which I couldn't help but smile at. But I had noted she didn't seem absolutely freaked out at the prospect of showering with me, so maybe I could take that as a good thing. "What are you going to do if I say yes?" I pushed myself to say quickly, cringing internally at how bad I must sound. I am so not good at all of this. I heard Bailey giggle a little through the small gap in the door before she replied. "I'd say you were getting brave. But you best be quick then, as I don't have all morning." "Go, go, go!" Zion joked, making me chuckle. He was such a dick at times. But I wasted no time this time in opening the bathroom door, filled with steam from the shower, and stripping off my shorts before moving toward the shower. Bailey was standing with her back to me, underneath the stream of the water, her naked body on full display now, tall yet curvy, perfect as perfect could be. I thought my heart had been racing fast earlier, yet the speed it was at now was so much faster. I felt suddenly conscious of myself being naked too. Here is me, a fully grown man, terrified of allowing a woman close to me. After the only woman I had been close to had been taken from me, I took a deep breath in an attempt to calm myself, moving myself closer and slipped my arms around Bailey's waist, allowing my head to lean around to softly place a kiss upon her cheek. The warmth of the shower and her body instantly soothed me. The contact with her body instantly caused my body to react. I found myself holding back a moan as she pushed herself back into my embrace, her pert butt pressed up against my hardening length, while I allowed my eyes to drift down across the perfect view of her naked body. I always set my alarm early when I need to be up for a certain time, as I am terrible at actually getting up. I need 4 or 5 alarms before actually getting up. So being woken up by Asher tossing me forward at the sound of my alarm had been a bit of a shock. Even more a shock was him suddenly deciding to join me in the shower. But now that his arms were around my waist and his naked body was pressed up against mine, I was not going to complain. I know it is maybe wrong, but fuck. It feels good, and it feels kind of right. It makes me curious how everything else could feel with him. His kisses make me feel like my whole body is a tingling mess or that it is on fire, so I have been curious about what else his touch could do. But we have always been a little tentative. I am anxious. He would not be my first boyfriend, but he would be my first time. I knew after Miles there would be no fated mate that I would be expected to wait for. But the times I came close to doing things, something stopped me. It just never felt right. But there was something with Asher that did feel right. A connection I can't explain. I have wanted him like nobody else. And that feeling had only got stronger. Did it scare me? Hell, yeah, but at the same time, he and I did not have fated mates now. We were single, no complications. We liked one another, and his touch felt good, so fucking good. I felt his lips slide along my neck in soft and teasing kisses as he pushed his hips a little harder into me. I could already feel the effect our touch was having upon him as he pressed against me, and the very thought of it turned me on. Knowing it was me having that effect on him. He wanted me. And there was no denying now that I wanted him. Yes, I think we may have both tried to resist that attraction in the beginning, but now? Now I was not fighting it. Now I just want him. Not to mention I was intrigued at this other side of him. I allowed my head to fall back a little against his chest to allow him better access, as his tongue and his lips glided along my damp skin, taking time to tease along the area where my neck meets my collarbone. An intimate area for a werewolf, the place a mate mark would sit. So, him teasing there with his kisses took me a little by surprise, but more so the effect it had on me took me by surprise. I was unable to hold back the moan from my lips. It felt good, too good having him touch me there, tease me there. I was suddenly glad Asher woke me when he did, as it meant I would have quite a bit of extra time now before work, a little extra time to enjoy him. His hands now traced the curves of my hips, pulling me closer, before turning me around to face him. I could now see every inch of his naked body, and he was pure heaven in werewolf form. The body I had been imagining, the body that was hidden under those clothes for a while now, was here in front of me, and he was perfect, tanned and toned with a dappling of dark hair across his body. I could feel his eyes drifting across my body too, no doubt taking in everything he saw for the first time. I just hope I wasn't a disappointment to him, because he was far from a disappointment to me, and had most definitely been worth the wait. Asher suddenly pulled me to him, his lips finding mine. You look good enough to eat," he murmured against my lips before his tongue found mine in a slow, teasing kiss. It felt so good having him kiss me, like he was made to be kissing me, made for me. I gripped my hands within his thick, damp, dark hair as he sent shivers of desire through my body. his hand slowly cupping my breast before he began teasing at the nipple with his fingertips, making me moan against his kisses. His touch felt so new, yet so good. I had been nervous, but now I wanted more. I wanted him to explore every inch of my body, intrigued at what he could do, what he could make me feel, if his kisses were anything to go by. He teased a little more as his kisses deepened, making me breathless now with need for him, before his hand began to edge downward. Asher paused our kisses, his beautiful green eyes meeting mine momentarily, giving me goosebumps, as his mouth moved to my breasts now, teasing with his lips and his tongue. His warm breath sending shivers of desire through me. My grip on his hair tightened as his hand rested softly on my thigh. I wanted him so badly and hooked my leg around his waist, causing Asher to rotate his hips a little, so his hardening length was teasing at my entrance as he moaned, before softly brushing back my wet hair from my face while I looked at him in confusion. I wanted him so badly already. He rested his forehead against my own, while his fingers teased their way along my thigh. Good things come to those who wait. He winked at me. And I promise you, beautiful, it will be good. So fucking good, he murmured before he softly kissed my lips, as his fingers soon found the wetness he had created. His mouth dropping back to my breast as he nipped at my nipple with his teeth, while he slowly teased at my folds, causing me to gasp in pleasure, thrusting closer to his hand, needing more of him and his touch. I felt him chuckle against my skin at my reaction, as he continued to tease at my breasts with his tongue and his lips, my whole body on edge for him. As he slowly slid his finger inside of me, I felt like I was coming undone at his touch, as he set my body alight with his touch, teasing me with his mouth, while he added another finger and he slid them deeper inside of me, causing a friction that felt so good it was making my pussy tingle, making me moan for him as he began to tease harder and faster, knowing exactly what I wanted, as he brought me closer to the edge. Bailey sounded breathless, as my fingers teased at the ever-increasing wetness I was creating between her legs. My fingers curled inside of her before slowly sliding out once again, eliciting a moan once more, the most glorious sound I think I have heard, made even better by the fact I knew it was me that was creating the pleasure causing it. I don't think I have felt this good in a long time. I can't quite believe I am here with her. I just wish I hadn't taken so long to find the courage. She gripped her hands into my hair harder, my whole body reacting to her touch now, so desperate to take her to the bed. She roughly pulled my head upward from teasing at her breasts, bringing my lips to hers once more. The kisses were so urgent and full of need as she nibbled passionately at my lower lip, before plunging her tongue inside my mouth, finding my own tongue and teasing playfully. I added another finger now, as I slid them a little deeper, causing her to gasp against my lips as I built the friction a little more, savoring the feel of her wetness around my fingers and looking forward to being able to sink myself deep inside of her soon, make her scream for me. A sound I could not wait to hear. My own breathing was increasing just as much as hers at the thought. I continued to bring her close to the edge, teasing now at her clit with my thumb, making her hips push harder against me, needing more, so I do exactly that, giving Bailey what she wants. I want to give her everything, increasing the speed and pressure as her breath becomes faster and harder. Her grip upon my hair tightens as she lets out a light squeal with her mouth resting alongside mine, her body shuddering against mine, while I feel her pussy tighten around my fingers, telling me I had done exactly what I had wanted to do. Bailey paused our kisses, her head falling against my shoulders and her naked body sagging slightly against mine, the water of the shower still spraying over us, but that had to be the best shower I had taken yet, and I'd like to think Bailey may agree. My heart felt like it was beating faster than was healthy, though I could feel hers beating equally as fast as she leant against me. "Holy crap," she whispered, making me smile. "Let me take you back to bed," I whispered into her ear, so desperate to finish what we had started. I have touched the girl now, felt her body against mine. I think I may be a little obsessed with her now, though, in truth, I think I may already have been, maybe even since the moment I met her, but I have actually given into it fully now, and now that that has happened, I don't think I want to leave the bedroom. "Oh, really?" she giggled, her eyes lighting up the way that I love when she smiles or laughs. Her entire face brightened. "Well, if you thought that was good, let me show you what else I can do," I murmured, already breathless at the thought, my cock reacting to the idea too. Bailey glanced down before raising her gaze to meet mine and giggling, her cheeks flushing. I raised my brows at her suggestively. "Imagine me deep inside of you." She smiled slowly as if in consideration of what I had said, but before she was able to give me an answer, I scooped her up and out of the shower, grabbing a towel as we went through the bathroom so we would be able to dry ourselves off, and I carried her over my shoulder in almost a fireman's lift while she giggled. I could not wait to continue this, bring her to the point of no return again and again. I smiled at the thought as I placed her gently on the bed, looking down at her lying there naked, looking up at me, looking so damn perfect. I felt like the luckiest guy in the world right now. All until she allowed her gaze to drift behind me. "Shit," she cursed. Her face looked panicked, confusing me. "Is that the time? Asher, I need to get ready for work, like now." I realized now she had looked behind me at the clock on the wall. God damn it. I should have positioned her differently so she couldn't see it. "Are you kidding me?" I grumbled, desperate for this not to end. "Not now. Not when things were getting good." "No, I did tell you this already." She was already sitting herself up on the bed, but all I am wanting to do is lift her up, maneuver her onto the bed, and explore every inch of that heavenly body of hers, show her everything else I could do. I sighed heavily. Luck was most definitely not on my side, was it? Why could it not be her day off? Though I did have work to do too. "Okay, but I want to continue this tonight. Beautiful. You have got me wanting more, so much more. Not to mention that has to be one of the best nights' sleep I have had in, like, forever. And I can only imagine it would be even better having continued everything we have just done and snuggled up next to you naked. My whole body is alive at the thought of it. Hell, today is going to be one fucking long day, but I would make sure once I had her back with me tonight, it was worth the wait. Every second would be worth the wait. I would make sure of it. Neither of us would be able to walk by the time we were done. I would make sure of that." Bailey stood up in front of me, her hand resting on my chest, and instantly my heart was pounding harder than before. Her fingertips teased a little beat upon my chest, playing with the light sprinkling of chest hair that sat there, before slowly allowing them to trail down my abs, sending goosebumps and shivers across my body. She knew what she was doing, and it felt so fucking good. She was making me want her even more now. She was playing a dangerous game. As she allowed her fingertips to tease along the shaft of my hardened cock. "As amazing as that sounds, I did tell you my sister was arriving today, didn't I?" she whispered. "So that kind of rules out any kind of naughtiness for us for a little while, I am afraid." My heart dropped. Had I heard that right? You've got to be fucking kidding me? I find the courage to actually finally act on these crazy feelings I have for her, and her bloody sister appears to put all proceedings to a quick halt. Well, despite a very different start to my day and a very rushed preparation for work, I don't think I had stopped smiling all day. In spite of the slight delay in me getting ready for work, thanks to Asher and his distractions, shall we say, I amazingly still made it to work with minutes to spare, giving the excuse that I had slept through my alarm. But it was so worth it because he had made me feel so wanted, so good about myself. He made me feel almost whole again in a way I didn't think was possible, not that I would ever admit that to him. He seemed to want me for being me. He had seen me at some of my weaker moments. He had seen me without my makeup, when my hair was in its natural curly state, and he still wanted me. He knew how I liked to read. In fact, on the many nights we had sat in the lounge watching TV, we talked about my studies, the books I enjoyed, and he never once judged me or made a negative comment. He saw me as me, flaws and all, yet he still seemed to want me. It was the strangest feeling, yet the most amazing feeling, the most freeing feeling. The day seemed to fly by, with thoughts of Asher on my mind, as well as because I looked forward to my sister coming. She knew what time I was due to finish work and had agreed to come around then. I hated disappointing Asher when he said he wanted us to spend the night together tonight. I would have loved nothing more, but I had already arranged this with my sister, and she needed my support. I needed to step up and be the big sister she needed right now. I knew how low Miles could stoop, the pain he could cause, and I didn't want it to cause my sister damage. As I brought my class to a close for the day and sent the children out one by one to their parents, I saw Asher waiting outside with the parents, making me smile. He was not doing much to hide the fact he was waiting for me, so much for trying to be discreet. Once all the children had left the classroom, Asher walked up to the side doorway of my classroom where the children had left, a big smile upon his face. Gone was the dark and moody Beta I had met. This was a completely different guy, of that there was no doubt. "That has to have been one of the longest days ever," he grumbled. And I giggled. "I don't know, I think it went quite fast," I told him, and he rolled his eyes. "Evidently I did not do a good enough job this morning then," he whispered as he moved closer and slipped his arms around me as we moved inside my classroom. "Or else you would have been struggling to think of much else, and would not be able to wait to see me again." I giggled again. "Oh, is that right?" I poked him lightly in the chest. "And is that what you plan to do to me, is it?" "Too right." He wiggled his eyebrows at me suggestively. "When I get the opportunity, of course." He stuck his bottom lip out at me, pretending to sulk, obviously referencing the fact he wasn't able to spend time alone with me for a little while with my sister visiting. "You are such a child," I rolled my eyes. "What happened to good things come to those who wait?" I think I got tired of waiting." I laughed. "I am sure you will be worth the wait. I don't think I have stopped smiling all day," I admitted, and his face broke into a big smile. Now that I liked the sound of, he softly kissed the top of my head before lowering his lips to my ear. "I would kiss you properly, but one, knowing our luck, somebody would walk in, and two, after this morning I am not quite sure that I could stop. And taking you over your work desk, as fun as that sounds, is not what I envisioned our first time to be." He winked at me, and I felt my cheeks flushing at his words. He could be so bad sometimes. Who would have thought behind that dark and moody exterior there was this Asher hiding away? My Asher. "I do think the classroom may be a little dangerous, though your office could be fun," I told him with a little wink of my own, thinking two could play at being bad, and his eyes lit up at my suggestion. "Ooh, Miss West, it seems you definitely aren't the sweet and innocent young thing you make yourself out to be." "I like it," he chuckled. "And I am sure I could find some time for a meeting in my office." He wiggled his brows at me suggestively once more, causing me to giggle just as the classroom door opened. Thankfully, this time we were only standing next to one another and not actually touching, so we only looked like we were chatting. "Bailey, have you—" "Oh, Beta Asher. Nice to see you again," Allie said calmly, her voice a little more formal than usual. "More business to discuss with Bailey, I assume?" I honestly think she had begun to suspect something was going on between the two of us, but Asher seemed reluctant to talk about this with her, and after we had spoken about it, I could understand why. It was a difficult subject to broach, and I didn't want to be the one that pressured him to do so. I smiled at Allie. Not quite. He had come to discuss my sister arriving. She is struggling back at home at the moment, issues of the heart, unfortunately. So she needed time away. Beta Asher had come to confirm her arrival with me. I lied, but Allie didn't need to know that. After all, Morgan would be arriving soon enough, so that much was true, and Allie would likely see her with me in pack. "Oh, I am sorry to hear she is struggling. Young love is never an easy thing to control. Well, love in general, I suppose." And her eyes wander to Asher, and I wonder if she was implying deeper meaning with her words as she continues. "I am sure some time away with her big sister will help. It is kind of you to allow her to come and stay, Beta." She nodded at Asher, and he simply smiled. "You two seem to get along quite well," Allie said after a few moments of silence, and I smiled awkwardly. "We bump into one another sometimes in the pack house, so we do chat sometimes." I dismissed her implications with what I hoped would indicate nothing was going on. Allie nodded, yet her eyes were on Asher, who was looking uninterested out of the window. Evidently, he was choosing not to get involved in the conversation today. Maybe my reaction the other day had made him a little more wary. It is always nice to make friends where you are staying. Anyway, I shall leave you both to it. I have just come in to see if you have seen the closure dates for next week, Bailey? Allie asked, and I nodded. A notification had been sent out to the Pack School app they had set up. Not to mention, I received emails regarding my working hours. The closures were to do with the party for the Alpha and Luna's new baby. Good stuff. Allie walked back out of the classroom with a wave in my direction before Asher looked at me. Now, who was making excuses for me being here? He pouted at me. I assumed you would rather me do that than explain why. I smiled and he grinned. So can I walk you home before your sister arrives? He offered me his hand, an almost pleading look upon his face. How could I resist? There were still things I needed to do in the classroom, but I could do them tomorrow morning because it wasn't like I would be staying in bed to spend time with Asher. So I took his hand, Akira purring at such a simple action, both of us happy to spend a little more time with him alone. Come on then. And as we walked out of the side door of my classroom, into the sunshine, I felt a sense of contentment pass over me as we began to walk down the path toward the main area of the pack. But as we did, Asher tugged me into the trees sitting alongside the path. His hand slipped around my waist the moment we were in the shade of the trees. He moved me gently to lean my back against a tree before his lips were softy and tantalizingly teasing at my neck. He murmured against my skin, his warm breath sending goosebumps across my body. Do you realize just how much I have missed you today? I giggled. No. I'd say perhaps you could show me, but seeing as we are outside, that may be a bad idea. He chuckled before he nipped lightly at my neck before continuing to kiss me, his lips and tongue teasing at the skin of my neck. Ooh, you are bad. So bad. His lips found mine as his tongue parted my lips to begin swirling in an enticing way that made me desperately want more. I reached up to run my hand through his thick, dark hair, pulling him closer to deepen the kiss. As he gripped my butt, his breath quickened as he pulled away. What time is your sister arriving? Soon, I admitted reluctantly, knowing instantly he was hoping to go to one of our rooms to continue what had begun this morning, and where this could so easily continue to. He sighed, running his hand through his own hair in frustration. Damn it! He winked. Best we stop then while we still can. I smiled up at him almost adoringly. This guy had to be the most patient one I had met. Sorry. I stepped up on my tiptoes to reach up and softly kiss his cheek. His hand hooked under my chin as I moved away, turning my face to his, so his lips softly met mine only briefly, but so tenderly it made my heart flutter. Don't apologize. I know it will be worth waiting for, beautiful.